Good morning, everyone. This is Gail Dudley with your News in Motion. Today is Monday, January the 25th, 2021. So good morning. Who's out there this morning? Let me know if you're here. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Nicole. What's up, girl? Good morning, Lori Williams. Can you tell I love it, Lori? Can you tell I love it? Can you tell I love it? Y'all, that is by Lori Williams Wallace. Good morning, Kelly Lee. Good morning. Good morning, Felicia. Good morning, Deborah Johnson. Good morning, Jacqueline. Y'all in here this morning? All right now. Good morning, Brenda Randleman. Good morning. I'm looking at y'all. You love the hair? I don't know what I want to do with it, Deborah. That's the truth. I don't know what I want to do with it at all. But thank you. I guess I'm going to learn to say thank you. Good morning, Tracy Birds. Good morning, Shirley. Good morning, Dana. Good morning, people. Good morning, Deborah Sneak. Good morning. Good morning, Michael Priestley. What's up? Good morning, Pastor Alex. Missed you on Friday. Good morning, Donita. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I do. It makes my heart happy. Girl, I love it. I love it. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Adrian. Good morning, Demia. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. All right, first things first. The team, we actually were not going to come on this week. Because as y'all can see, we're not finished doing what we were supposed to be doing. Well, thank you, Demia. But I was like, no, they would kill me if I do not show up this week. So you don't really see a lot going on yet because we're still making changes. And we did not get it completed this weekend. So again, good morning, Kenny Stanley. Glad that you are up and about. Good morning, Awana. So yeah, we're making some changes. So the color of the walls has changed. I actually moved locations. Good morning, John Gore. I actually moved locations to make it more of a studio feel. And so it's not all done. This is not where I'm going to be sitting in a couple of days. It's going to be all changed around. But I told the team, I said, if I do not show up today, they will be looking for me. So we were laughing at some of the comments on Friday. Some of y'all's gifts were hilarious. So, or to some people say memes. So this is going to all change. This is all going to change. But the wall is gray. I love this gray feel. Y'all can't see the carpet, but the carpet has a big floor rug that has some navy blue, some gray, some cream. What else is on there? Some light blues. So that's the color scheme that's going to be happening. Be careful out there. Ice is out there. Thanks, John. I heard the ice hitting the windows, actually. Good morning, Shantae. So here it is. So they were trying to get me to come back February the 1st for Black History Month. And I said to them, y'all see those people on there in our family, in our community? Good morning, Yvonne. I said, if I don't show up today, they're going to have my head. So y'all just going to have to deal with the in-between before we move on. Gail, I just redid my office studio space too. It just really, you chose gray. It's like, it really vibes. It vibes. Good morning, Karen. So let me get to the news, y'all. Let me get to the news. And I hope y'all have paper and pencil for the inspirational message. I hope y'all have that. What God revealed to me for the inspirational message was just like, wow, for real. All right, y'all. Y'all know that January is Human Trafficking Month. Y'all know that. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Let me put in awareness. So y'all, the Hill is reporting, and this is a good thing, that 33 children were recovered in an anti-trafficking operation in Southern California. And it was entitled Operation Los Angeles. And this is the FBI LA field. So they teamed up with the LA Police Department and the Sheriff's Department and 24 other law enforcement and non-governmental partners, and they launched this recovery back on January the 11th. Good morning, Leanne. So they note 8 of the 33 children recovered were being sexually exploited when found. And I just want that to sink in, y'all. I'm not saying go around be paranoid I am not saying be looking at every child you see with an older person, because my daughter was always with her dad. So I'm not saying that, because it really could be a father-daughter relationship that's straight up legitimate and authentic. But y'all, we also have to be aware. I'm thankful that there are 33 who were found, but that just gives you an indication of how many more may be out there. So be mindful of that. Trial in motion. Y'all know the impeachment, the House is sending it to the Senate today. They made a decision to wait until February the 8th so he can lawyer up, whatever that means. But Senate Minority Leader, it's so good to call him minority these days. The Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, said he wasn't going to whip the votes. And do y'all know what whipping means? Whipping means when they go around and grab up votes. That's what it means. He said he's not going to do that. So we're going to see how that's going to come into play. Yeah, let's pray for them. What is Mitch doing? Mitch said he's not going to whip the votes against it. He said he's going to let everybody make up their own mind. So we'll see if that happens, okay? But we do know, and I don't want to give him much news, he wants to start a mega, that other dude, wants to start a mega party. So there's that. So they need to do something to try to get him silenced. All right, y'all. The Senate confirmed retired General Lloyd Austin as Secretary of Defense Friday. He is the first black leader. Y'all, Breonna Taylor's jurors, they want to impeach Daniel Cameron. Yeah, 3 grand juries in that. Things that make you go, Rand Paul is trying to say Joe Biden doesn't like black teenagers. Just Google it, read it. It's just too much to say. But he was sitting down with Hannity on Friday, trying to say that minimum wage would take jobs away from black teenagers. I don't know where that came from, but in the words of Arsenio Hall, things that make you go, And then if you fact check it, it's not even true, what he's trying to do. All right, travel in motion. President Biden, I can say president again. President Biden has will officially reinstate COVID-19 travel from travelers from Brazil, Ireland, United Kingdom, and 26 other European countries. Y'all, we're not going nowhere. Y'all need to stay home. Just stay home. Kim Miller Edmondson said, what? Rand Paul, that's what we call fear. That's trying to incite fear. It's trying to get people to think, oh man, Joe Biden's taking away things from black people. Y'all, that stuff is not true. Y'all, if you ever question anything, go to factcheck.org. Go to factcheck.org. You can see so much. Just type in a headline or a title. It'll let you know if it's true or false. Y'all, we need to start squashing this stuff. We really do. We need to start squashing this stuff because it's ridiculous. But that's what he's putting out there, that President Biden doesn't like black people. And when he raises it, and he's talking about 4 million jobs will be lost. When you go to fact check, it says 0 will be lost. More people will want to work. So you have that. They're trying to pass that $1.8 trillion relief package. And they said it will stimulate the economy. Good morning, Rhonda Clark. Girl, you in Texas. What time is it there? 6:30, girl? You're right, Deborah. We gotta fact check it. All right, y'all. So we have that. And y'all, this is random. And they told me not to put this in here, but I'm doing it anyway. This is so random. Y'all, the New York Zoo welcomes Cosmo. He's a rare white kangaroo. Yeah, that just came out of nowhere. I know y'all probably like, where'd that come from? We just talking about traveling. We just talking about Rand Paul. But I wanted to tell you about this kangaroo. Yeah, it's a New York Zoo. And the kangaroo was born in late December. And his name is Cosmo. And he's a rare white kangaroo. Yeah, go Google it, y'all. The picture's beautiful. The pictures are beautiful. I know that just came out of nowhere. But I wanted to tell y'all that. It's Monday. I can do what I want to, right? All right, y'all. World in motion. Y'all, Russia. Are y'all watching Russia? They have never had these kind of protests ever. Y'all, see, that's why Putin don't like us. He doesn't like the U.S. because we start stuff. Y'all, they are out there big time. The Kremlin, he is fighting. He is saying that the U.S. is causing his people to go into protesting. Yeah, y'all, over 3,500 people were arrested. They were arrested this weekend. Yep. Now, because Alexei Navalny, y'all know, first of all, you were in Germany. You were safe. But he decided, and this is a real advocate. Y'all talking about real advocacy? He's a real advocate. You talking about this. This is what happened. He decided, I'm going back to my town, my place where I was born. So he gets there, and of course, as soon as the plane lands, he gets arrested. First, I'm going, why'd you go back? You was going to get arrested. He didn't care. So now he's in prison. They took him straight to prison. People started boycotting. And so the U.S. Embassy is like speaking into it, because now they can, because the occupant's not there, that other person. And so they started protesting. I mean, they were serious, like, we come. So in Moscow, that is happening. Y'all, something happening up in here. It's just crazy. It says the U.S. supports the right of all people to peaceful protest, freedom of expression. And I don't know what just happened to my thing. Freedom of expression. And it goes on to say that steps are being taken by the Russian authority to suppress the rights and to suppress the U.S. Embassy. That's what's happening because the U.S. Embassy is feeding all the information. They even had some media people out there taking pictures. Yes, about to get interesting. All right, y'all. Britain, that coronavirus is taking them out. They are now up to 100,000 deaths. Even that number, though, you're thinking, we are over 400,000. But Britain had it somewhat under control. Their numbers have been increasing daily. Lebanon's hospitals are messed up. The U.S., the AP analysis is saying that 40% of Americans live in the hot spots. That's happening. And y'all, finally, our numbers are starting to... Yep, they joined WHO, so now we're getting the numbers. They're now showing that U.S. is over 25 million. We have surpassed that. Y'all, here are the numbers. There's about to be a UK ban. Yes, Damia, there is. There currently is one in place with some flexibility, but here's the challenge to this, and they're going to have to stop the borders from other locations. In the UK, if you've ever been in the UK, you can take a train to another country. And then from that country, you can fly over here. So they're going to have to shut all of them. So they're saying about 26 European countries are going to be shut down to where travelers cannot come in the U.S. That's smart because the way it was left before, all you got to do is get on a train and go somewhere else. I've done it. When you're traveling and you're like, well, I'll fly in here, but then I'll travel somewhere else and fly back home. All you got to do is get in a train. So everybody has to check those borders when you're traveling. So hopefully they'll get that under control because in the UK, that baby is mutating like crazy. And they're saying it's more deadlier and more contagious. So that is happening. Yep, that is happening. So they need to shut that down. So here are the cases, y'all. 25 million. These are confirmed. 693,539. Again, that's 25,693,539. Deaths, 429,392 deaths. Recovered, 15,409,014. Yeah, recovered 15 million. So we need to celebrate, y'all. Celebrate the recovery, 409,014. Then we also heard that Dave Chappelle has canceled performances after he tests positive for COVID-19. And sad news, baseball legend and longtime home run king Hank Aaron passed away Friday at the age of 86. And then we have the broadcast legend Larry King, who passed away at the age of 87. So before I even get to the win and before I get to inspirational message, and I want y'all to get some pen and paper, not saying that I'm all that with this inspirational message, but God gave me a message that I cannot wait to share with you all, seriously. And I believe it's going to take notes. And get the vaccine shot. Let's talk about that for a moment, John. Thank you for raising that. you know, you hear back and forth. There's some articles out there that I'm going to post in the News in Motion page, which I'll get to that in a moment. Many of you have already liked the News in Motion page. Keep going there, keep liking the page. But I'm going to start putting article links in that page so that you can read it for yourself. Everyone has to make their own decision. But start looking at the numbers of people who they're saying they're doing good. They've been around patients that have COVID-19. They're still masked up. They're still social distancing. They're still doing all of that. But they're saying that it's working. Now, there's one particular vaccine, I think it was Merck. They have pulled theirs off the shelf because it was not as effective. Then you have people in Wuhan, China, trying to diminish the Western vaccine because theirs in China is not taken off as well. But they're saying the Western one here in the U.S. and in other areas, the U.K., so forth, that is working. So again, you have to make that determination. But listen, at some point, you have to make the decision what you're going to do. We can continue to live with this, or we can do something about it. I know, again, there's about 9 people in our family who has experienced COVID-19. Yeah, Demia, I have too. I've had Black physicians that have taken it. Good morning, Oscar. So y'all, do your research. Do your research. Excuse me. Do your research. Please do your research. And pray about it. Pray about it. We're still in that place of pause and pray until the end of this month. Pray about it. Let me finish that when I get to the inspirational message, y'all. There's so much with this inspirational message. It's I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, I want to get there. But I just wanted to slow down for a moment. I want to go back to Lebanon for a moment because I just got this alert. They are on the brink of collapse with the COVID-19. They're unable to keep up with coronavirus patients. They have run out of beds, oxygen tanks, ventilators, and medical staff. They have run out of medical staff in Lebanon. Many have caught the virus, forcing them to take sick leave and leaving fewer colleagues to work overtime to carry the burden. Now, to every bed, and I'm reading this, so this first time I'm reading it, so I hope I don't mess that up. To every bed that frees up after a death, 3 or 4 more patients are waiting in the emergency room to take their place. So people are in the waiting room on the floors getting extremely sick. And this is AP report. It's Associated Press reporting. So although we're talking about the U.S., y'all, as long as there are these serious outbreaks everywhere else, we're still in trouble. So again, do your research and you make a decision of what you're going to do. But people, y'all, this is a real virus. It's not a hoax. And people are dying. We have over 400,000 who have died. We have over 25 million cases just in the U.S. alone. And yes, we have over 15 million that have recovered. But still, y'all, pay attention, do your research and do what's right. The other thing I want to say real quick, and it's funny how these things come in this morning. I want to go back to the other alert I received. It's come out as of this morning that a growing number of Republican senators say they now oppose the proceedings against the former occupant. See, when you have too much time, here's what normally happens. The House held on to the impeachment. They held on to it because they impeached right before the inauguration. Well, the moment that the House sends it over to the Senate, they have 24 hours to start the proceeding. Well, there was a vote in the House with everything that was going on. In the Senate with everything that was going on, that they agreed to do it beginning February the 8th. Now there's time and people are cooling off and people are saying, let's go on. But we need to not let that happen. So even now we should start calling our representatives and the senators saying, we need to follow through on this. We need to understand that he was the one that signaled this insurrection. And we're not going to play around with this. And the other thing that just came through, I was talking about Breonna Taylor. There were three jurors who wants to impeach Attorney General Daniel Cameron. And they go into more detail about filing a petition with the State House of Representatives on this past Friday. And they're objecting. The reason is that they are objecting to the conduct of the Attorney General Daniel Cameron. And that's why they're calling for his impeachment. They're saying that he did not release all the facts. He did not release all the information. And now he sealed everything. So that is what's happening with that as well. All right, so let me go to the win. Let me go to the win. Let me go to the win. To the win goes to my daughter today, Dominic Dudley. And let me tell you why. Not because she's just my daughter, although that's part of it, but because that girl is on fire. You know, she's really, when we were doing this space in here, she was like, well, Mom, you got to look at some other things. And then she went on to say, Mom, you got to step it up. Now, we watch you, you have fun, the family's having fun, the community's having fun. We're doing a call to action. You got your inspirational message down. So this is what she said to me. I'm going to just be honest with y'all. She says, time for you to wear some different colors and to give, you know, put on some pop-up jackets and things like that. She goes, you can still be in your sweatsuits and stuff. She said, but Mom, it's time for you to step it up. There's too many people watching. I just love her because she's just bold. She's just out there. She don't care that I'm her mom. She's just going to tell me. So she started giving me numbers and statistics and different people and things that we were looking at. So much so she was getting on my nerves this weekend, to be honest with you. But she was just bold with it. So we have all kinds of conversations, and hopefully if you're a mother-daughter relationship or a father-son relationship or a father-daughter relationship or mother-son relationship, that you really have a good relationship. If not, I'm going to beg of you to try to reconcile any relationship that may be lost or anything that may be troublesome to you. So she was telling about a friend of mine. She's in Atlanta, and she says, Mom, when she called me, she said, Mom, she said, you got real friends. And I said, well, of course I have real friends. Where'd that come from? And she was telling about a friend of mine. And she said, Mom, I got this text message, and then this happened, and then this happened. And she said, oh my gosh. And she was like, oh my gosh. I said, well, did you text her back? And she said, oh yeah. So we started having that conversation. So she was talking about that, pulling from this community here. She was talking about all the different giftings that you all have. She started looking at some of y'all social media. Mike Nicholson, you'd be very excited. She thinks your social media is on fire. So she was talking about your children will be honest with you. Won't they, John Gord? Man, they'll be honest. It's like, dang, back it up a little bit. But anyway, she started looking at the statistics of different people's platforms. And she was saying, okay, she goes, Mom, Mike got it together. You know, Mike knows this. My daughter was always going to his hip hop fitness class when she was in town. She would drag me to the hip hop fitness class, just saying. And so she was just looking at different things. And she was like, you know, if the black community, if the black and brown community are really going to succeed, she took my word. She says, you were saying all last week, pause and pray. She said, it's time for y'all to pause and reevaluate what it is that you're doing and making some shrewd moves. She used the word shrewd. She said, it's time for y'all to get shrewd. She said, you've been talking about stock. She said, so why don't y'all look at doing some sort of investment club? She goes, I'm sure there's somebody in the community that has a financial investment background. She said, do some shrewd moves where you're taking up territory. She was like, that's a powerful group. So that means she was going through looking, Pastor Alex, she mentioned you. She was like, now, Pastor Alex, isn't he the guy that goes to Uncle Reggie's church? And I was like, yes, we had that conversation. She said, just think about what they can do right there in that area. So she started naming different people out. Miss Shirley, she saw you with your cooking during, I think it was Thanksgiving or Christmas. She said, does she have a restaurant? She goes, it's time for all of you to take shrewd moves. So she gets the win, which leads me to my inspirational message. My inspirational message, and I want to read this scripture to all of you. Colossians chapter 2, verse 8, and this is out of the ESV, the English Standard Version. And this is what it says. See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirit of the world, and not according to Christ. Y'all need to read that for yourself and really study over that today. That's Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. And I'm reading that out of the English Standard Version. Okay, the English Standard Version. Thank you, Hester. Thank you. That's the English Standard Version. I want to read that again. See to it that no one takes you captive. So I'm going to stop right there for a moment. We need to stop allowing other people to take us captive because of where they are. They may not be ready to go into where God wants to take them. So they may be stagnant. They may be paralyzed for the moment. So to some degree, we have the responsibility to reach out and help them over. But we can't fight with them and we can't spend a lot of time with them. Either they're going to come with us or they're not. If they want to stay over there because they can't see it or they don't believe it, we need to leave them there because we cannot allow them to take us captive that will stop us from our forward motion. So that's number one. And then it says, again, see to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy or empty deceit. Wow. Empty deceit. Empty, which means they have nothing. They're actually operating off of absolutely nothing. It's empty. They don't have, everything is like very surface. They don't have anything that they're operating with. And not that it's their fault. It could be that no one was walking with them to teach them and to show them and to speak life and wisdom to them. Believe it or not, there are people in this world that they want to keep people underneath them. If you have anybody like that in your life, that you want to keep somebody, that they want to keep you underneath them, it's time for you to cut that relationship off. Because as long as they are keeping you beneath them, you can't rise and you need to get out. So here's what else I want to say about that. If you notice that there's somebody who is underneath someone else, it is your responsibility to get them free. Now, you can't make them move. All you can do is speak wisdom to them without cutting down the other person, of course. But you need to say, come on, I need you to rise on up out of here. And here are the reasons why. We need to start bringing them alongside us. And we need to stop being so insecure that we don't want to lift somebody else up. See, it's insecurity that wants to keep people where they are. But we need to now give them permission to be released. So it's like we're saying, I release you. I'm giving you permission to be released. Be released from this bondage that you've been under for so long. See, here's the difference. And the message, if you want to summarize it this way, the message is it is time for us to believe God. Now, the devil, the enemy, Satan himself believes in God. But it's time for us to believe him because there's a difference. I can believe in anything, but do I believe it? That's where it separates. So it's time for us to believe God for what it is that he's already speaking into our lives. Believe him. Believe him. Believe God for who he is and what he's saying to you. Believe him. The naysayers will come. They're going to come, especially when you start progressing. People who are insecure with where they are, they don't want to see you get to where you're going. You have to make it up in your mind that you're going to do what you're going to do, regardless as if they're on board or not. So when I talk about Amazon stock, if you're shopping at Amazon, y'all believe and start giving to that. So if you have to cut off, and I'm going to just use Starbucks as an example. If you have to cut off 2 cups of Starbucks for the week, what is that, $10? Take that $10, take that $10 times 4, that's $40 invested into Amazon. Start somewhere. Start somewhere. If you go to Sephora, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to Sephora, if that's your go-to place for your makeup or your cologne or your perfume or your body care or whatever that is, if you're going to Sephora, you should have stock in Sephora. You got to believe God. So it's one thing to just put stuff out here to you and for us and all of that. But it's what are we going to do with it? I started thinking, we're talking about food insecurity. Well, where is there a Black-owned food bank? I can't find one. I can't find one. So whose assignment is it to start one? So, for example, News in Motion, we have a partnership with Aldi's now. Why are we all owning Aldi's? Why aren't we putting stock in there? Why aren't we investing in that? Just something to think about, y'all. This is our year to think differently. All right, I got to keep going with this. According to human tradition, so I'll read that again. See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, which says to me that this is a human tradition thing. And we can go back to the Bible. We can scroll through all the names in the Bible. Who were they trying to keep down, keep out? Who were they trying to push to the side? You know, they were doing it all through the Bible. So this is human tradition, but we have to rise up above it. We do. We need to stop speaking that we can't afford something. I was talking with Latrice Jones about this a couple of Saturdays ago, and we started changing that. And Latrice, I think you're still on here. What was that phrase you used? I think she said something about if she's left, because I know she has to go into her job. But if she's left, I think she said something about stop saying you can't afford it and start saying I'm being a good steward of my finances. So we even have to change that language. Because, there's power of life and death in the tongue. So what are we going to speak? Are we going to speak I can't afford it, or are we going to speak I'm going to be a good steward today and not get that at this time? We got to change that language. So, human tradition. And then according to elemental spirits of the world and not according to Christ. Well, I looked up elemental. I looked that up. I want to be a good steward. Thank you, Latrice. I looked that up. Elemental stands for primary, and it also stands for basic. And I want to speak life to everyone who's watching this today to say you're not primary, you're not basic. You are above. You have abundance. You have life. You have boldness, you have confidence, you have security. That's who you are. You are powerful, you are wealthy. You're wealthy in knowledge, you're wealthy in spirit, you're wealthy in finances. We're going to change the management of these finances. We're going to change this. We really need to start looking at, okay, if I believe God, believing. Now, hear me, I ain't talking about running around a car, name it, claim it. I'm not talking about that. That's material stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking bigger than that. I'm talking, okay, you can sit there and practice self-pity, or you can sit there and say, okay, I need to go up a notch. So go back to my daughter. She said, okay, Mom, so you've done the sweatshirts, you've done the sweatsuits, you've done all of that. She said, but as the studio space area is changing, she goes, it's time for you to step it up. She said, now you be blinging it out with your statement pieces. She said, so that's who you are. That's a part of your brand. She said, so keep bringing that out, however you're going to bring that out. She said, but now that we're going into spring, and I said, wait, there already? She said, listen. She goes, we're going to start getting some colors. Then she said this, and this is for somebody out there, and I don't have any problem being transparent. Y'all know that I have no problem being transparent. She says, Mom, she says, now, and y'all know this, I told y'all my mother so I could share with y'all. She said, okay, now Grandma's been in and out the hospital sick. She says, now you have a choice to become healthy with me. My daughter, she's on this health kick now. Her job, they're in some big competition with all the employees at her job. And she's with a PR firm. And they're doing all this stuff. And so she's been working out every day, Mike Nicholson. She's been actually going to this, to the gym like at 6 in the morning. Oh my God, she's going. But then she says to me, because I don't want to take it off of what she said to me. She says to me, Mom, you keep saying you're going to do this. You keep saying you're going to do that. What you doing? She says, so for spring, from now till spring, she says, she goes, put it out there. So I'm going to put it out here for all of us. Let's do something healthy. And I'm sure many of y'all out there, John, you're out there. Mike, you're out there. Nawana, you are jamming, girl. You're out there. And I'm sure there's many others. But if we're going to do this to where we're making a change and we're going to believe God and believe what he's saying, it also has to deal with mind, body, and spirit. All of it. We can't do one and not fix the other. It all has to come together. We all have to do this together. Meaning, we can't say, well, I'm going to just work on my finances. Okay, that's a piece of it. But your mindset has to be ready to work on your finances. You may say, okay, I'm going to become healthy. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to do this. Okay, that sounds good. But your mindset has to be ready to deal with the physical. You may say, okay, I'm going to step out there and I'm going to do my side hustle. I'm going to start a business. That sounds great, but your mindset also has to be a part of that. So again, pause and pray. Pause and pray and be still to hear what the Lord is saying. Yes, better quality of life. Yes, better quality of life. Be still and hear what God is saying and then move forward accordingly. Now, here's one more thing, and I promise y'all I'm coming off of here. Here's one more thing, and I promise you I'm coming off of here. What God has for you is for you. What God has for somebody else is not your assignment. So stop being distracted looking at somebody else's assignment, thinking, well, that looks good, I'm going to do that. If that's not for you, it's not going to make it. And then you're going to be discouraged because it did not make it. You have to do what God has called you to do in your assignment. Now, along with that, your assignment may look similar to somebody else's assignment. Do not let that distract you either, thinking that you can't do it because somebody else is already doing it. Do you know how many news reporters, journalists are out here? I'm one of probably, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. But mine is different. How is mine different? You see the way I pull this out. And I always end up at the inspirational message. And the inspirational message is set here to empower you, to motivate you. I no longer, if y'all notice, I no longer say, I'm a believer, I'm a follower. That's a given. I used to say that to lead into people who may be watching that will turn off like, oh, she's giving me that Christian stuff. Well, that's what you're going to get with me. So I'm no longer running from that. So I take the news, I give relevant commentary, I could give a call to action, and I mix it with some inspirational message. That's who I am. Now it's time for you to decide, who are you? Y'all, we have work to do. Because hear me, the next election is coming up. The next election is coming up. And they're already trying to change. That's called gerrymandering. They're already trying to change the landscape because of the census, because many people didn't even complete them. They see where red turned blue. They're trying to turn that back to red. We need to turn them all purple. Purple stands for that it's not necessarily a Republican or a Democrat, but there are people who can serve this country and lead us faithfully. And they're doing what they say they're going to do without all the infighting. All right, y'all, that's all the time I have today. I want y'all to chew on the words, not just my words, but it was like a download from God. And he used my daughter to have that conversation with me. Because even today, when I was like, but the office isn't ready, the studio isn't ready. And I was like, but I got to show up. And they were trying to get me not to. And I said, nope, I got to show up today. And they're like, okay, you go ahead. But that means it's going to be more work for you later. I'll take the work. Because we need to do this together, people. We need to. Which also says, y'all, let's start uplifting each other. Let's start uplifting each other. Send a powerful word to somebody. If somebody crosses your mind, send them a word. Encourage them. Stop denying people what they've been called to do. Stop denying people what they've been called to do. All right, y'all. I am Gail Dudley with your News in Motion. Today is Monday, January the 25th, 2021. You have a great day. Please wear your mask, practice social distancing, wash your hands, and start doing your research on the vaccine. Y'all, we got to get back to some sort of normal. We got to get back. We know it's a long haul, but it's time for us to start moving towards getting back to some kind of normal. All right, y'all, until tomorrow, God willing, I will see you all in the morning at 7:25 a.m. Eastern. Peace out, everybody. Mwah. Have a good day.